Hello and welcome back, fellow gnomies. Thanks for joining me again today. We are on part 4 of our standing gnome tutorial, and we're going to be finishing up today. So we are going to get right to it with making their beards, and then we're going to make their coats and their arms. We're going to get all that done in this one video, so we better get to it. Okay, starting with Sherlock Gnomes here, we're going to pick out the color for his beard, and then we're going to figure out how wide we need it to be. Just measure by holding it up, and then I like to find the middle point so I can get the middle. If you're making a V-shaped beard, you can make it whatever shape you want. I like to go V-shape. And now to cut it, we're just going to use a razor blade knife here, and we're just going to cut the backing, making sure not to cut the fur behind. As you can see, and you just kind of pull it apart as you cut. So that way the fur is all still nice and long and you're not cutting any pieces of that. Just seeing about where I want it to be on him. He is pretty long, so I did decide to make another piece to add to it to make it a little longer. And I also gave him a little mustache across. Again, this is just however you want it to be. I cut just random shapes that I think will look good for a mustache or a beard. This, I just added another little triangle on top for a little mustache look. And then I put a strip all the way around to give him hair as well. That'll be coming out from under the bottom of his hat. And then I'm just picking out a nose size. And just glue that right on. Covered in that little hole. I didn't like that little gap between where there's no hair. So same thing with this one. We're just going to run through it quick because you've seen it. We're just drawing out the shape we want. This one I made it a little bit of a pointier point and cutting it without cutting the actual fur. And again, a long strip I made for a long pointy mustache. And then I just parted it in the middle and cut it straight. So we can have two separate pieces. And you just attach that where you want it to be. Again, add your nose. And for this guy, same thing, measuring out. I was trying to pick out which color. Let me know if you would have chose a different one for this. I chose the white one. Should I have gone with a different one? So again, this one I had to do a fairly long one again because he's pretty big. And I didn't make it have a point. I wanted his beard to be kind of just square at the bottom. Well, more rounded square, I guess. And again, a couple little pieces for mustaches. And add your nose. You can see that I cut the top of this cone off because he was so tall and pointy that just made him so wobbly. Again, picking out the beard for this little guy. I decided to go with this Mongolian fur. I got it as it's a cushion cover actually that I got that I cut apart because I really like the fur. I know some people say do not comb it, they don't like it combed, but I like the look of a slick, nice beard. But you can choose to do it any way you like. This one I want some long, thin pieces for our little mustache. And then just add your nose again. Okay, so we're going to start with our coat. So I just cut out a rectangle piece of material. I measure it out how long I want it to be on my gnome. Hold it up so it's about the width it needs to be to go around him. And then I cut another piece to line the inside collar areas with. So I'm cutting some long strips. And we're just going to attach this to the side and then one to the bottom as well. I do just glue down the edges just to give us a nice finished edge look so it doesn't look, you can't see the raw edge there. Same on the side pieces, gluing them down. And then I attach them to the good side of the fabric. So that when I fold it around, it just looks like a nice finished piece. And then do that on the sides and the bottom. The bottom piece I did make a little wider for this one. It's again whatever you want it to look like though. And then I lay him in the middle. I can see it's probably a little too long, so I did cut the top a bit there. And now I'm just putting some glue right in the very middle. And then I lay him right in the middle, and that way we get the coat evenly around him. And I just glue it all the way around, and then I just kind of give it little pleats as I go. Just kind of fold it and tuck as you go so it lands about wherever you want it to be. And I do that on the other side as well, as you can see, just kind of tucking and pinching and folding as I go. So this guy decided he needed a little cape to go with his coat, so I just cut another strip, again gluing down the edges. And then at the top, you don't need to glue that down because that's hidden under his hair. So I just do the same thing, adding that to the top. And then I'm measuring out his arms. I'm again using these foam rollers. These are a little thinner than the ones I've used for legs. These ones are just the smaller size, exact same thing. We're going to remove our wire piece there. So we're just going to cut that a little shorter. Cutting through the foam, not through the wire. Use a wire cutter for your wire. And then we're just going to attach that same way we did our legs. We're going to attach that to some fabric and just roll it up. Putting glue right on the edge seam to finish it off. And cutting as close to that as you can. Same thing for the other arm. And then we just need to take that plastic piece off at the very bottom. And now I have these polymer clay hands that I have made that I'm just going to attach. Putting the wire right through the hand there. I have little holes in the hand already for that. And then I take a little edge piece off the top of the arm. Just gives it a little bit extra to grip onto when you're gluing it. And I like to glue it right in, if you can get it in where the pleats are that we put in the coat. Again, it just gives it a little something extra to grip onto. And then just glue it and press really firm. And now we're just going to add some cuffs to the bottom of his sleeves. So again, just strip of material that we fold down our edges and glue, and then glue it all the way around the end of his sleeve. Gives him a nice little cuff. Hides where you hit it, put his hands in there too. Same thing on the other side. And then I decided he needed a little something extra, so I put this little chain that I had. It's got these two little clasps on the end, which work perfect for this. So I just broke the other piece on the end and then attached it with glue, pinching it right onto his coat. It worked awesome. And there he is, our Sherlock Gnomes. So next we're going to move on to little Birdie here. So Birdie I want to make a little bit of a shorter coat for, more fun and whimsical. So I cut these pieces. This is a cotton I'm dealing with here. I did add the minky for our inside little collar pieces. Folding down all your edges. Again, it's basically just a big square or rectangle that can go around. As long as you're kind of pleating it around as you go when you're gluing it, it will be fine. depending on how big you make it as to how much gathering you want it to be. This one I did find, because it was so round, it did kind of stick out at the back around its bum there, so I did tack it down a little bit. And this one I decided to add this edge later, so that's why I'm doing it after the coat is already on. I just decided it needed a little bit of something. So again, our arms, cutting through the foam. Picking out which hands to use. These ones weren't quite the right color I wanted, so I did paint them. Rolling it up in our fabric. We're just going to glue those on. It's going to be hidden under the hat, these ones, so it's going to be wherever you want it to be. It's going to be hidden anyway. And then we add our hands again. And some nice leaf cuffs. I added a little birdie for him. And there's Birdie for you. Hope you guys like him. And next we're working on our dreamer, our colorful one. This one's so much fun. So I did add the fabric pieces a little differently to this one because they didn't need to go all the way down to the bottom, I decided. Oh, and there's Archer popping up to say hi, laying back down. So I just did it on the two sides and folded it over, as you can see. And then the bottom strip, I added a pink strip a little bit wider at the bottom again. Folding that down and around. And then we're going to work on our arms. For these I use these green, they are from your garden section at the dollar store. They're a little skinnier. They're green foam with wire in the middle. They work great for if you want like a little bit of a thinner look. Again, just pinching and gathering. This one I did gather quite a bit. I made it pretty wide. I wanted it to be more gathered. And a nice thick fur collar on this one. I wanted it to be more bold. And I did just glue down the collar a bit so it wasn't sticking straight out as well. And then we're adding our shirt cuffs and our hands. And there you have it. Our dreamer is all finished. So last we've got Fremont. And this one I went back and forth. I'll show you guys. Like this coat, I was like, nope, not that, nope, not that. I went back and forth. I just didn't like it. So I decided I'm just gonna go with the original sock that I made his body from. And I made his arms out of that. And he's not getting a coat. I think his body is too short for a coat, for the look I was going for anyway. So I just added some sleeves with some fur cuffs again. And just wrapping our fur around again. And we're just going to attach those arms. These ones, because we did use those, the ice cream cups for the body, we're going to poke the wires right through that. It gives you something to attach it to. It's kind of nice. And then again, I wrapped hair all the way around him. Decided he needed that since he has no coat. Adding his hands. Again, these are made from polymer clay, these ones. And I decided to add a nice little strip to his pants and dress him up a little bit. Again, he has no coat, so let's dress up his pants. And I gave him a little belt around. And there's Fremont, ready to watch the bands on Fremont Street. Well, there we have it. We are all done our standing gnomes. This has been fun. Thanks everyone for joining me for this tutorial. We have our Sherlock gnomes, we have our Birdie, we have our Fremont, and we have Dreamer. So again, whatever you want to create, gnomes are wonderful for just being whatever you want them to be. So have lots of fun with it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks all again. Love to all of you. Enjoy your weekend.